like, throw out a name.
I'm not proud of it.
Just drop a name, because I bet you these people maybe have heard it too.
Okay, I have choreography for R. Kelly.
Anybody ever heard of R. Kelly?
Yeah.
All right.
Aaliyah, I don't know if you ever heard of her. You know, and so that was kind of like my start. And I was in high school then. But so I spent my time doing that, and then one of the guys who would hang around our crew, because I had a bunch of guys I used to hang out with and dance and stuff like that. He would come around. His name was Dirk Brown, the white guy, and his nickname was Dookie.
Dirk. Okay.
His nickname was Dookie. His last name is Brown.
Wow.
Dirk Brown. We just got him. Either way. So this guy, he was a Christian, but he didn't like kind of force his faith on us, you know what I mean? So he would, one time I was done, you know, I was back home in Chicago. He's like, yo, I know this hip hop group that I want you to come work with in Nashville. And so, you know, I was, you know, eager to do whatever I could do. I ended up going to Nashville and working with this group called Grits. And Grits, anybody know about Grits? Yeah, they tricked me though, man, they tricked me. They said, you know, hip hop group. I didn't know it was like a Christian hip hop group. I was like, all right, you know, and so I was like, yo, these guys are different, man. You know, but it was cool because they liked this type of music that I like, but they, you know, it was about God, you know what I mean? And so they didn't have a facade of trying to be cool and everything like that, and it was interesting. So one day, I was sitting down at a table after rehearsal, and one of the guys, his name was Noda Verbs, he just started talking to me about the gospel and asked me what I knew about Jesus, and I explained to him the same thing I explained earlier, and he was just like, man, you know, God has a plan for your life, and, you know, I had the cool hip-hop thing going, you know, I thought it was cool. And a lot of times in the hip-hop world, you wear this facade, you know what I mean, of like, you're tough and everything like that. Man, when he started talking to me about God, God, it did something to me, right? And so I felt it. And so all of a sudden I started crying, right? And you know, you can't be crying if you hip hop, you cool, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there and I'm crying, and you know, men, we don't handle crying very well, you know what I'm saying? We'd be like, our face get all distorted, you know, we trying to fight it off. So I'm sitting there like going through it, trying not to cry, man. I couldn't stop it. I just gave in, but then I started laughing because I couldn't stop crying. My emotions were all jacked. I mean, God was like, you know, he had this guy reading my mail, just telling me everything about me in my life. Wow. And I gave my life over to Christ, and then that's how I got introduced to Toby Mac and all those other guys, because Grits, they were signed to Toby's label. Okay. And that's how, you know, that's kind of how I got into the faith, and that's kind of what transitioned me.
That's awesome.
This world, yeah.
You know, I think of another man that cried. You know who that is? King Jesus, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a real man. So if you're a man here and you're afraid to cry, you just open the Bible. It's okay. You know, God created it, and sometimes just getting real with God's the best thing you can do.
It is.
So I just want to encourage all of you guys. And I also want to encourage you to hear his story, that, you know, it was someone just living it out. You don't have to go be something you're not. You just be the light where God's put you. So if you're in the music world, then you just be a light in the music world. If you're in the coffee world, be a light in the coffee world. If you're a banker, whatever, you know, it's just, you never know who's right there with you. So we thank God for someone sitting down with you, asking you about Jesus. So very, very cool. So what's going on in your world right now? This may be a weird question. If I put you on the spot and you think about it, you could answer this later. What's God doing in your life now? Is there a verse or a theme? Is there something that maybe God's doing that you're just like, man, this is...
Well, there's two different things that have always burned in me. One thing we talked about, is you just talked about, you know, if you're making coffee, you know, do it unto the Lord, you know what I mean? Yeah. So 1 Corinthians 12:12, you know, it talks about us being one body, you know, all different, you know, people, but we are one body in Christ. And so my thing, man, is really encouraging people to find whatever that gift and talent is God has blessed them with, and give it unto God and be excellent in that area, you know what I mean? Because it's needed, and never look at someone else's gift or what they're called to do as higher than yours, because we work better together. We're stronger together as a unit, as one body. And so, you know, you think about the lights. If you don't have anybody running the lights, you really can't see us. If nobody made this microphone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You couldn't hear it, you know what I mean? And so everybody has a place, you know, and so find what that is and master that craft. But the other thing that's really, you know, something that drives me is discipleship.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people, they get comfortable with just coming to church.
Yeah.
And getting fed the word, but then they don't do anything with it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I really like to encourage people to be bold about their faith. Witness to somebody, share what you know. You know what I mean? Because when you're lost, I mean, I know you're like, man, I wish somebody would told me this sooner. You know what I mean? You could miss a lot of pitfalls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I don't know if it's a small group or if it's just whatever it is, man. But that's something I just always want to tell people is, you know, it not only does it help the church and help the body grow, it's what we're called to do. Jesus said, go make disciples. And so that's one thing that I do. And that's where I'm at.
That was my next question. What drives you? And I think you answered that.
Yeah.
Discipleship.
Yeah.
It's not many artists like this that would say, what drives you is discipleship. And that's biblical, just so you know. That's a mission. In fact, your opening song, Transform, that's our mission here, is that we want to see the world transformed for Jesus. And so that's appropriate. I hope you guys are grasping that. I've got a question about one of the songs you just did.
Okay.
And then we're going to, so if you haven't texted your question in, text it right now. Any questions, so get it in. The song Walk on Water. If you guys go to YouTube and you Google the actual official video, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the story behind the video or maybe even behind the song? What's going on there?
Well, the heart behind the song is really to just encourage people that, you know, there's a different visual, you know, but it's about encouraging people through hard times. You know, we all have our ups and downs and things that we deal with in life, and sometimes you lose hope, you know, and you just need that encouragement to pick yourself back up, you know, and just like with Peter when Jesus had him walk out onto the water, you know, he wanted to come out there, and he was fine when he focused on Jesus. You know, but when he took his eyes off Jesus and started to focus on the waves and the turmoil, you know, he started to sink and fear set in his heart. And so, you know, that song really is just about, you know, keeping your eye on God no matter what's going on around you. You know what I mean? And you'll be able to come through that situation. So the video, it was something that was like, you know, somebody who's just been beat up and metaphorically, you know what I mean? You know, it was visually, I got beat up by a bunch of guys in the woods, if you see the video. But it was a metaphor about just how life sometimes you can feel beat up and tore down. And, you know, I got away from that situation and God had redeemed me. And you know, when I lined myself up with Him, I was able to overcome, you know. And so you see me at the end of Walking on Water. It looks pretty cool, you guys should check it out. You know? It took me a long time to get that thing. You know, it was really a board up with the water. And I was walking on it. And so, you know, I was trying to keep the balance. I fell. And the water was freezing cold. It was so cold, man.
In Georgia?
Yeah.
I thought all the water was warm there.
No.
You want cold water, we can take you to something.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys got some cold. But yeah, that's what the We Walk on Water was about, man.
Well, I think it's an encouragement, especially where we're at in our culture, even in our own nation right now. There's so much strife, and the only thing that's going to solve that is Jesus. You know, and whether it be through races or through spiritual, division. So I'm encouraged by that. And, man, we do these Q&As all the time. I've never gotten this many questions, ever. I mean, we have hundreds. We're not going to get to all of these. So there's all of these are questions for you. So maybe I can send them to you.
Nope.
All right, we got some good ones.
Man, I don't know. Next.
All right. Yeah, we could do that. You can plead the fifth on any of these. So, someone asked, what hardships did you go through as a kid? Who knows? Maybe the kids asking. I've got a lot of kids.
Man. Well, you know, I think we all have. You know, my hardship isn't any worse than anybody else's hardships. I mean, some people, I don't know. Some people have had some pretty tough things happen in life. But, you know, my mom was a single parent, and she dealt with alcoholism. You know what I mean? So I had to deal with that at a young age, and that was part of me. I told you earlier, she would drop me off with my grandparents and stuff, but it was so she could go party and drink and things like that. So, growing up in that situation, it was tough just to see her go through that. And you know, she would come out to like functions that I would be at, but she'd be intoxicated and stuff like that. And so it was tough, you know, because a lot of my friends, you know, but she wasn't like a mean crazy. She was just a fun, happy drunk.
Yeah.
But you know, and all my friends thought she was cool, but it wasn't cool to me. You know what I mean? Just imagine coming, like, say this was the party, and you've been in the party for like 30 minutes or whatever, and one of your friends comes up and says, "Hey man, what's going on? Your mom's outside, man. She's kicking it." We're like, "What? Your mom's outside? Why is my mom chilling?" And then being intoxicated. So that was the kind of stuff that I dealt with, man. But the good side of that story, man, is that she went through rehab, man, and got herself together.
Awesome.
And now she is helping other people go through the steps to be, you know, sober. And she got saved. So
That's it. Yeah.
yeah.